We can't say the future without AI. I mean, there's no way around it. 50% of workers now believe AI is going to improve their experience. When I come into the meeting room, I need a way to incorporate my AI with what's going on in the meeting. It's almost a bring your own AI type of a concept. Most of what we do in our day-to-day is going to change significantly.
Hear the latest AV trends and predictions in this episode of Crestron's Smarter Spaces podcast on your preferred podcast platform.
I think it says a whole lot about the future of the technology that we expect and adopt on a daily basis. Like the Zoom looked better. And because everybody was used to that, because of the pandemic, this other thing that was so incredibly expensive just went the way of the dodo.
I believe that's the first time anyone has ever referenced the dodo bird. So that's pretty impressive.
It's like the 3D glasses. Now, I don't want to put it in that same category, but
3D glasses, really?
I'm kind of with him on this one.
Yeah, I could second that.
Dang it, I'm outnumbered.
In 3D! Oh, you gotta wear these things the right way. All right, they don't work. All right, here we go.
Art Media files for bankruptcy. Amazon gets into digital signage. And registration opens for ISE 2025. All that and more next on AV Week. This is AV Week, episode 686, recorded Friday, October 11th, 2024. Dodo Technology. This is AV Week, the weekly wrap-up of the biggest AV news and information. My name is Tom Albright. I am your host. With us to discuss said news and information. First and foremost, Rebecca Sullins from AmpThink. Welcome, ma'am.
Hi, Tim. Glad to be back.
Thank you so much. Also with us from all the way across the pond, Justin Dawson from Dublin City University and the All Things Techie podcast. Welcome, sir.
Hey, Tim. Great to be back again.
Thank you so much. And a newbie, so you two be nice to him. Travis Cawthorn, as Travis is from Kramer. Welcome, sir.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Super excited to be here.
Yeah, I am excited to have you. Got to hang out with Kramer a bit, both at Infocom and ISE, and we'll talk about ISE here in a bit. First story, though, a bit of a sad one. From Rave Pubs, Art Media has filed for bankruptcy. Once a promising player in holographic projection technology, the company has faced significant challenges despite its innovative offerings, and they were quite innovative. You can check out the article that Mitchell will put a link to on some pretty cool stuff. Art Media launched during the 2020 pandemic and initially seemed well-timed, but as travel restrictions eased, demand for their remote presentation solutions kind of went away. Despite pivoting to applications like virtual concierge and retail engagement, high cost hindered widespread adoption, and the company's stock plummeted from its 2014 high of $5.25 US to 0.015. In case you're really math challenged like me, that's 1.5 cents per share as of September 30th. Rebecca, I'm going to start with you on this. What does Art19's bankruptcy say really about the future of holographic experiences?
I think it says a whole lot about the future of the technology that we expect and adopt on a daily basis, right? So they got real popular during a time when literally everyone was inundated with having to do things virtually, having to call in, having to do all of this stuff. And the holographic part wasn't necessary. Everybody got used to doing things on Zoom, right? And because their price point was very high and it required adoption over, a larger scale than what they had. If you read the article that Mitchell posted, Rave said that they tried it out and it just wasn't quite enough. Like the Zoom looked better. And because everybody was used to that, because of the pandemic, this other thing that was so incredibly expensive just went the way of the dodo. So I think it says less about the technology itself than it does about what people expect from technology now, which has changed by leaps and bounds in the last 5 years.
I will say I have been doing this for 13 years now, and I believe that's the first time anyone has ever referenced the dodo bird. So that's pretty impressive. Justin, same question here is what does this say about, kind of this holographic experience that they're pitching?
Do you know what, Tim? It's like the 3D glasses. Now, I don't want to put it in that same category.
Hang on.
But it's close. I know every time you get Justin on, I'm controversial.
But 3D glasses, really?
I'm kind
sorry.
of with him on this one.
Okay.
Yeah, I could second that.
Dang it, I'm outnumbered. Sorry.
It was a great idea in principle, but when you make something so unique like this, Tim, you need to bring the cost levels down constantly because you have a lot of things to compete with. While that was going on, and of course, as Rebecca said about the pandemic, and now we're back in physical real life, the demand for something like this decreased rapidly and very quickly. In the meantime, like when you go to places like ISE and so forth, you're seeing more and more transparent LEDs being put on glass fronts. Even at the last ISE for the 25th year, the whole front of the Führer was transparent LED, and transparent LED is coming down in price. Now, where am I going with this, right? You had a cube that would be on a stage, which looks bulky, but you could probably do, if you had the same type of budget, you probably could do the exact same thing with a UC like Zoom or MS or Teams or whatever, and put them on stage. And it's getting thinner, cleaner. Would you get the same 3D image? It's worthwhile trying. Look, I'm putting this on a higher ed background as well. It's like, how many higher eds did we actually see one of these holographic units in? Very few. There was a couple over in England. There was Imperial College that tried it out. But, was it a thing that was going to catch on? Not unless the price came down. And I say the big problem was there was too much competition with other tech, like transparent LEDs, like UCs getting even higher quality, cameras getting higher quality, that, a block cube on a stage wasn't going to cut it anymore.
And that's, I'll jump in because that's a great point that Justin is making, that, the applications that we can see this kind of technology coming to life in are, number one, the sort of personal one-on-one interactive situation, retail, customer service, concierge, whatever. But where we're seeing it sort of being piloted is like on a stage for a presentation for these CEOs that were doing virtual. And then who cares if it's 3D? When there's 400 people in the audience that
they can't see it that far behind. Yeah,
it's a useless feature. And so it kind of gets into the don't let perfect be the enemy of good. Zoom is good enough and a tenth of the price.
Yeah, I think it's all, about what people find to be acceptable. I mean, during all the COVID times, it's like people got so used to the Teams and the Zoom stuff that, all this, hologram, is kind of, almost not even necessary. I mean, I kind of, see it obviously doing well in like entertainment industries, right? I mean, something where people are putting on shows, but yeah, until stuff, from a cost standpoint, is more, it'll be more applicable into our, everyday type of thing. But not only that, but the setup you have to have. I mean, you have to have, the perfect lighting and all that sorts of stuff to make the foreign people, have a good, enjoyable experience. So it's definitely interesting. But yeah, no, I definitely agree with you guys.
All right. Next story scared the what out of me. So we're just going to take this very slowly. This is from AV Magazine. Amazon has entered the digital signage market. End of story. That's the conversation. I'm going home now. Launching its new signage stick for just $99.99, basically $100. This commercial-grade media player offers 4K video capabilities, Wi-Fi 6E connectivity, making high-quality video digital signage accessible to businesses of all sizes, quote unquote. Experts are praising the device's affordability, ease of use, and compatibility with leading content management software. While currently available only in the U.S., Amazon is working with partners to expand distribution globally. Mr. Dawson?
I love this story because it was linked in with Now Signage, which I have been using since nearly the birth of Now Signage. I used to use it over in University College Dublin. Yeah, the other university that you confused me with.
Oh, that was that was like months ago.
Okay, well, anyways, I'm plugging other podcasts for our listeners and audience. But I've been using Now Signage with an Amazon Fire Stick when I was back in UCD. And just the ease of being able to plug and play, like literally it was plug in to any screen. You could have an old screen, and especially when you're in a higher ed background and lack of funds and budgets, like being able to plug in something like this into the back of any screen, connect it to the Wi-Fi, and it was on the cloud. It was a superb use for during COVID, because I could still get into this cloud system with digital signage and be able to change all the screens across my school at the time and put up tickers. So is this a new story? I don't feel it is, because Amazon has been doing stuff with, or now signage has been doing stuff with Amazon. Amazon now going off and maybe opening it up more. Yeah. Are they going to go fully into the world of AV? This is wait to see, but how great would that be on the supply chain issues that we had in the past if Amazon's going to be able to deliver things quickly in trucks in the next 24 hours? Who knows?
I'm sorry. I wanted to jump in so many times there. I was holding myself back. So I think that this jump that they're making, just as Justin said, they've got their niche, right? They've got you want something down and dirty, you want something quick, you want to be able to move and change and plug it into anything, yada, yada, yada. That's a great niche for them. And they've kind of already been doing that. Everybody knows you can hack a Fire Stick to display a menu board, right? I don't think that this is going to be a danger to the large scale, really professionally done, super AV things, for a number of reasons. And number one, what is the largest advantage of Amazon? It's that they can get crap to you fast because you order it from Amazon and it's there, right?
Yeah.
Now, this is going to be going through distributors, other things. This is not a direct Amazon thing. So you're taking away that advantage pretty quickly. Number two is, as an engineer, I have to think about the actual practical part of this. Where are a lot of the HDMI ports on displays that we see now? They're off to the side. You're not going to stick something that somebody can get a hold of off to the side on the back of a TV, right? You want something that you can hide away. So there are practical limitations to this. There are, they're losing some of their advantages. I think that, if you want to put up a couple of menu boards in a medium or small scale installation, sure, order some. It's easy to deal with. It's easy to use. But are they going to take over the other, the big boys? I'm not going to mention manufacturer names, but you know who they are. They're not going to take over the big boys in a stadium because nobody wants to deal with that.
Justin, are you going to plug in something on the side of a display?
Well, now, Rebecca, you did bring a good point there. And I go back to what you were saying. It's not Amazon fully owning this. They are tapping into one of the manufacturers I just mentioned, now Signage, right? That have been doing for years, right? But it's an app. When all said and done, it's software, it's an app. Why aren't these digital signage companies just going, if I can get this app on a smart TV, I don't have to plug in anything?
And you're not wrong. And you know what? And I've been down that road as well. The problem with stuff like that is as soon as you have one guy making the hardware, one guy making the software, and a third guy putting them together, and you have a problem, guess what all three of those people do? It's like that Spider-Man meme, right? You don't know who to call. There is no support, whatever.
Yeah,
so most of your professional installation, whatever, anybody, I would never put something like that in on anything large scale because I don't know how to fix it. I can't take ownership. I can't take accountability for that install anymore.
All right, Travis, from the manufacturer's point of view, and I'm going to say this generically, this is the part that scared the you-know-what out of me. What do we think about Amazon getting into at least this part of the Pro AV industry?
I think on the digital side of things, or digital signage side of things, it's definitely interesting in the fact that it's quick, easy, simple. A lot of customers, when they're coming to us for, project design and installation, they just want something simple. They want it to work. My question too is, how do you manage all these devices? If we're in the Internet of Things nowadays, stuff's cloud. Now, maybe some of this would be done through AWS, to be determined. But how are you managing all these endpoints? I don't think that's where those large signage players, I think they'll be just fine. They've been doing that for a long time, and I'd be rather surprised if somehow Amazon came in and just all of a sudden took down a lot of market share. But yeah, those small simple installs, the menu boards, but they're not getting into airports. There's no way.
No, and I mean, just again from another practical standpoint, those things get their power from whatever they're plugged into. If the TVs get turned off, you're all of a sudden walking 14 miles around a stadium or an airport to find those problems as opposed to looking at a dashboard, right?
Agreed. Yeah. Those high profile areas,
Yeah.
those, it's too hard. Too hard.
It's very practical for a small to medium install, but they're not going to take over the big boys. They're just not.
Yeah, I would put it more as retail, small restaurants, perfect for higher ed.
Mom and
Perfect for
pop.
higher ed. Yeah.
Sure.
Really quick before we get on our last story, Justin, you said it's perfect for higher ed. Why is that? Because again, it's been a minute since I was a tech manager, but I can, depending on the campus, depending on the university, some of those folks are several acres, several miles or square meters, however you want to measure it, big, and several buildings. So why would you say it's perfect for higher ed?
I would say more like, Tim, yes, when I was in UCD, there was a central display signage system that would be for all of university. But like in some corners of different schools, you might have a TV that you just want to display a timetable of what's going on in each room and pointing people in the right direction. That was the perfect use of what we used it in UCD.
So like individual colleges or individual schools, and that got it. All right. Final story. ISE 2025. ISE is returning to Barcelona. It is the 4th through the 7th of February. Building on the success of ISE 2024, which drew nearly 74,000 attendees from 162 countries, organizers are promising an even more ambitious showcase. The expanded event will feature a new exhibition hall, enhanced content programs, and innovative learning tracks covering hot topics like AI and cybersecurity. Registration is now open, and ISE's managing director Mike Blackman is urging early signups, emphasizing the event's role as a global hub for networking, cutting-edge technology demonstrations, and career development. Just like in years past, ISE is putting on hands-on experiences as well as citywide AV installations. And if you've never been to ISE, it's in Barcelona. The team there does a fantastic job of expanding the AV experience outside of the four walls ish of the Fira, right? They have installations all over the city. They did it when they were in Amsterdam. They've taken that idea and that technology to Barcelona and done a really good job. Travis, first question to you: what do we expect out of ISE 2025 coming up?
Yeah, I had my first opportunity to go to ISE last year, and it was quite an awesome experience, especially, having history, back at Infocom. It's a completely different animal. I think obviously the innovation hub there at ISE is definitely huge. Great to kind of get some collaborative minds together, seeing technology. I think we'll obviously continue to see the convergence of AV and IT. I know that's certainly been, kind of going that path, I guess, maybe could I almost say a whole decade here in the AV world?
Two decades. Infocom 2004, and I know this because a buddy of mine sent me this picture. It was a ginormous sign over the entrance to Infocom 2004 that said convergence. So, yeah, we've been talking about it for a minute. Go ahead.
Wow. I don't know. Time flies. I mean, that's pretty crazy. And then, I think another big thing is collaborative spaces, those meeting spaces, USB technology. I mean, it's a little bit, I would kind of say of like the wild, wild west right now with USB-C, USB, in meeting spaces, and us as, manufacturers having to try to, figure out how to integrate, a plethora of different devices to work, with the product. A lot of R&D goes into that. But no, a lot of these collaboration spaces I think are important. Am I walking into a meeting space where, hey, I got an MTR, Zoom rooms, all that stuff, but you also want to have your BYOM environments, bring your own meeting where you can just come in, connect into your laptop and start a call that way. So I would love to see some stuff with, more USB, hybrid meeting spaces. It's definitely kind of the way of the future. We were forced into that a little bit. And then I think maybe some sustainability, green tech, if you will, I think is definitely popular, especially, on that side of the world. So excited to kind of see what maybe ISE has to offer there.
Rebecca, same kind of question is what do you expect to come out of Barcelona?
Well, I say this as a person that has never had the privilege of going to ISE. One day I will be there. But the thing that I have noticed, sort of trending is I'm going to go with the last 5 to 10 years. We've had all of these sort of trendy technology starting to come out. AI, immersive stuff, the holographic, just like we were talking about earlier. And for so long, they were sort of just intangible concepts that we were trying to cram what we do into and make them fit, right? How can AI improve your meeting space or whatever? And people are kind of getting over that a little bit, right? And now they want practical. They want, how will this actually be functional for my design? We're moving from a bottom-up approach to a top-down approach. And we're trying to get these actual technologies to work for us. So I see a lot more demand for going back to the practical aspects, the hands-on, the tangible, fungible things that we can learn and go to. And the other thing that I see is, for so long, convergence. Again, everything is convergence, right? If you got into audio, all of a sudden you had to do LED and you had to do video, and all of a sudden now you had to become an IT guy. And so you had to learn everything. And now if you look at ISE this year, they're breaking a lot of their learning stuff back down into individualistic tracks, right? So we're kind of breaking back out into, one of my favorite sayings that everybody misuses is jack of all trades is a master of none, but it's still better than a master of one. Mm-hmm. So, we're breaking that back out into people being more specialized in the industry, which I think is an interesting trend to watch. And I'm curious to see how that's going to go.
Mr. Dawson, you'll have the last word on this. You are going. So what do you expect? And you've gone for, good Lord, I don't know how many years. So what are you expecting out of ISE this coming year?
Tim, I'm going to get a new T-shirt made for my podcast, and the slogan's going to be "Not another video bar."
Thank you.
I kid.
Can I have one? I will buy one.
I'll buy one. Yeah.
No, I know at least one company that's going to be bringing out a video bar, and I'm like,
you really only one?
Just one. I'm sure there's going to be more, but I haven't seen the NDAs on it.
Here's a freebie for Mike Blackman and the team at ISE. Just like you guys used to do individual halls at ISE when it was in Amsterdam, they had the digital signage hall. They should do a video bar hall, right? And
do you know what? I am looking forward to it. Like, having been to my first InfoComm this year in Vegas and just experiencing the two, and as Travis said earlier, it's just like a different animal. The fact that they're going to put in another hall, an innovation hall as well. Really looking forward to that. Like, I always like, it's been said before on different podcasts, Tim, of instead of walking the main halls or the main corridors or and you see the big manufacturers, I like to go off into the corners to find some tech that no one knows exists.
Yep.
And it's great the fact that there is going to be an innovation hall. But the main thing is, look at the keywords. As you said, it's been going on for 20 years. The slogan for ISE this year, connection restored. It spells out IT is going to play much more part in ISE going forward.
Yeah, absolutely. We've been talking about connectivity and convergence for 20 years. And we will continue to talk about it until it gets into all of our heads. I'm just saying. All right. Thank you guys so much. Rebecca Sullins, thank you, ma'am. I appreciate your time. How do people connect with you or AmpThink?
You can find me at rebecca.sullins at ampthink.com. That's AMPTHINK. You can also find me on LinkedIn, Rebecca Sullins, or you can find me on X, though I'm not on there quite as often. So LinkedIn or email is the easiest way.
All right, very good. Mr. Dawson, how do people connect with you or your All Things Techie podcast?
Visit allthingstech.ie for the All Things Techie podcast. Over 100 episodes there to watch back on if you really want to watch me that much. Or you can visit my website, justinordawson.com.
All right, very good. Travis, thank you, sir. Nice to have you. How do people connect with you or Kramer?
Yeah. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. You can, of course, find me on LinkedIn, Travis Cawthorn. You can also reach out to us at Kramer. I'll give you my email, tcawthorn@kramerav.com.
All right, very good. For me, for Tim Albright, don't follow me anywhere, especially not on Twitter, because I'll just complain about the Bears. If you want, I've actually started. I say this. I've been writing more on LinkedIn, so you can legitimately find me there. Don't follow me on Twitter, but if you want to connect with me, you can go on LinkedIn. I am speaking at the Church Facilities Expo October 22nd in Chattanooga, Tennessee, so just down the road from Rebecca. So you can check out that at churchfacilitiesexpo.com. For those watching on YouTube, and if you're tired of looking at us, you can go listen to us, and that's just it. You can subscribe to AVWeek podcast wherever you get your podcasts. And if you are only listening to us and want to see Justin's bright green microphone, you can see these fine folks and watch the video on YouTube. So, but first, go by the website, avnation.tv. That is avnation.tv. Thanks so much for listening. Thank you so much for watching. That is all the time we have for AV Week.
The network for the AV industry.
What are you listening to?
This
is AV.
This
is AVNation.
This is AV.
Hi, this is Jennifer Goodyear
and Erica Carroll
from the Women in AV podcast, where we are encouraged by the incredible stories of women in AV.
Listen in on fun, empowering conversations as we chat with inspiring women, breaking barriers and creating their own path in the industry.
Check out Women in AV on avnation.tv or wherever you get your podcasts.
AVNation.